including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, vacs, pickers, service, shunt, and tank trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Jaffa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Jaffa at maauctions.com.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
On today's show, Oilers flatten Vancouver, play the Ducks in round 1, and the hockey gods are smiling on Fort Edmonton today. Now, about those injuries. By the way, Calvin Pickard has been recalled already from Bakersfield Condors. Probably insurance, but one never knows. The Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. It's a busy day. As you know, we're on YouTube and also Sports 1440 AM radio. Online at iHeartRadio, Radio Player Canada, and sports1440.ca. And after the show, we're on Apple and Spotify podcasts, so you can tool around, walk in the sunshine with the dog later on today, and listen to the hijinks of this particular radio program, and we're delighted that you do. You can text us at 833-401-1440. That's 833-401-1440. We'll be talking today to Steve Lansky from Inside the Truck podcast. We're going to talk about the Edmonton Oilers, the fact that they got a little bit fortunate to play the Anaheim Ducks in round number 1, and some of the other teams did not. Hello, Minnesota Wild. Hello, Dallas Stars. And we're also going to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, because we haven't really, and what a season. What a mess, and what an off season to come. So we'll talk about that. Declinations coming up at 12:40 today. This is the original edition of Declinations, and we always run it an hour early in respect for the brilliant idea that Declan Krueger had. All right, we're going to talk Oilers Canucks. We're going to talk Oilers Ducks. We're going to talk about Doc Pickard, Leon return, McDavid, Art Ross, Maple Leafs, and so much more, and NBA. Don't worry. It's time now for the introductions. His Calgary Flames ended the season with a win versus LA last night. The city of Edmonton and all who live in it should thank him by making this Josh Fenwick Day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick, everybody. Josh Fenwick.
Yeah, you're welcome. Because again, as a guy that works in the city of Edmonton, covering the Edmonton Oilers primarily, I did not want to watch another Kings Oilers.
No. Nobody did.
Series. And then on the flip side, it's like, yeah, I believe now they have the 4th best odds to get the number 1 overall pick. So they sort of tank their tank essentially. But this is who the Flames have been all season. Yeah. Well, and I think that was a nice way to go out.
They had an injured goalie. They started Lars, who drives a pickup, and they won.
First guy to in Flames history to go from ECHL to AHL to NHL and win all 3 starts.
Nice.
Or debuts nice. in
Calgary knows
Flames history.
They really do.
They know what's up.
Yeah.
They know what's up.
All right. He's feeling like today is magic as he gets ready to watch Hornets buzz and the Warriors warrior in the warmth of the suns. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody.
All right. Let's have a Friday.
Are you looking forward to the NBA action?
Yep. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course.
How about the 76ers?
Hey, listen, I'll tell you, man, what an absolute like the 76ers, I think they're going to get like really
stomped,
by Boston. But what a perfect matchup for them with that Orlando team. And Paolo Banchero, since he signed that $240 million contract, has not done a thing.
I will say this. Anybody out there, if you sign me to a $240 million contract, I will work my ass off. And that's a promise. anybody out there. All right, Oilers Canucks last night. A few things I want to talk about. Colton Dock. I know they got him in a trade, and we didn't really know him that well, but he's really having an impact. I loved the line last night. I love Szymanski. Obviously, I'm a big Frederick fan, but Colton Dock is a different kind of a guy, and I think that I hope he stays healthy through the playoffs. He's already one of the fan favorites, and he will be absolutely a fan favorite by the end of the year if he plays in the postseason like he has in the regular year. It's fantastic. McDavid had a chance at 50 goals, and of course, he passes the puck everywhere. Did you see the no-look pass to Matt Savoy? Oh my God, he is so talented. And Savoy catches. By the way, in the summertime, every August, I do a reasonable expectations, a point estimate for each player among the Edmonton Oilers. And it's August, so who the hell knows who's even going to play, but I do it, and it's a fun exercise. I projected 37 points for Matt Savoy, and damned if he didn't nail that right on the hammer. Right on the hammerhead. So I'm quite pleased with that. I wanted to brag a little bit. I rarely do, but today I felt like I would. I told you about the Pickard recall. Who knows? We'll find out as days go by. I have a feeling Leon is closer to being ready after what we saw yesterday at practice. Looks like he's moving well. The question I have when I look at this team, I really like the Szymanski, Doc, and Frederick line, and I think McDavid should stay with Savoy and Zach Hyman, and that gives Leon all kinds of opportunity to play with Nuge or Podkolzin. He often plays extremely well, and Kasperi Kapanen, he ups his game when he plays with Leon. So there's another option there. The Oilers could have 4 lines that are going. I thought it was interesting. The third pairing last night played quite a bit, looked good. I think they're ready. I think this team is ready. I don't know that the coach is going to be as creative as you'll want him to be in terms of the lines, but the pairings are set. And as long as Connor Ingram can, I think, play 5 out of 6 games, is that fair? You got to give him a rest at some point in time because it's a long playoff season. But looking forward to this team and playing well. Just one more thing really quickly before I ask my learned friends their opinion on last night, and then we'll get to the Ducks. McDavid winning the Art Ross. Congratulations to him. I don't know that he'll win the Hart, but I have a feeling we're going to find out some opinions here today on Declinations. Declan, what's coming up at 12:40 on Declinations?
Yeah, so really, really excited for this one. Josh and I are going to be doing our top 5 Hart ballots. Now, ideally, we'll also be doing our top 5 NBA MVP ballots. I don't know if we're going to have time for it, to be honest, because there's a lot to get into with the Hart stuff. But yeah, I spent a long time last night looking into a lot of numbers, like good hour plus, around an hour. So yeah, really, really excited for Declinations today.
What are your thoughts on last night's game in terms of, I think everybody felt like the Oilers would dog walk the Canucks, and they kind of did, but did you see anything that was worth mentioning from that game? I mean,
it's one of those games, first of all, shout out Matt Savoy. Hat trick in the opening. Like, what are we talking about here? What a performance, my goodness. It is... Listen, let's just call it what it is. There's an element of it being that Vancouver Canucks roster in the last game of the season. You know what I mean? Like, let's just be real. It was kind of the Abbotsford Canucks a little bit out there. Still an unreal performance. It's great to get the win so you don't have to play LA again. Now, obviously, other jobs were done in the Anaheim-Nashville game. But yeah, no, listen, good win, great win. Stack the score sheet, get a Hattie, get some assists, lock up that Art Ross. It was a fun one.
What about you, Josh? Any thoughts on the game? I know you're probably watching the Flames, and they're no-name goaltender.
No, I saw quite a bit of the Oilers' first period and second as well before I sort of went, right, this is over, and then went on my merry way with the rest of what I was doing. Yeah. As much as a hat trick is really cool from Matt Savoy, someone that I've been very high on since the Olympic break, as I think many people in the city of Edmonton have. Shout out to Connor McDavid for basically giving him the 3 easiest looks that Matt Savoy has ever seen in the Professional Hockey League. Like,
possibly any league. And that's when he was ripping it up in junior.
Yeah, man. And so that was an incredible performance by Davo as well. So all in all, that's what you wanted to see from the Edmonton Oilers going into the playoffs, was one where they said, all right, let's turn it on here. Like, let's amp up the intensity. Let's do what we got to do. Of course, it was against the Canucks, who are leaps and bounds the worst team in the NHL, and it's not particularly close. A win is a win.
When we look forward now to Anaheim, I know that the first reaction for a lot of folks is, wow, they don't have to play, the Kings, they're filthy. Well, Anaheim houses Radko Gudas and Jacob Trouba. So there's going to be, I don't know if you saw what Radko Gudas did to Austin Matthews. Well, he'll be on the ice. So this is a team, the Anaheim Ducks, who have a lot of talent. They're not there yet. I think they're a year away. A year from now, I think they would be more formidable. But they're tough. They have some skill. Dostal is a goaltender I've been watching since he was in the AHL, and he can stone you. He's a goaltender who could get hot and make this a 7-game series. I don't think it'll go that far. Do we want to do our predictions for the NHL, each of the series during the show today? Is that something we want to do maybe around 120?
Yeah, that
I'd do
sounds
that.
lovely.
Okay, we'll hold off on giving the prediction, but there's some really nice players on this team that we're going to be watching for many, many years. And I think that your favorite player is Leo Carlsson. Is that correct?
Me?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
No, my favorite player is not Leo Carlsson.
Okay,
Why would you ask me that?
Declan's favorite player is Leo Carlsson.
I like Leo Carlsson's game a lot. Favorite player is a little bit of a stretch.
That's
though.
what I heard.
No,
That's what's out on the street.
Let's draw for that.
So Anaheim, Edmonton, that's, I think that's a break for the Oilers. Not all series were breaks for other teams. The Central we knew was going to be a mess. And I just want to take a moment here to go over we'll talk about it at 120. We'll do our predictions at 120. But when you look at the Wild versus Stars game 1 tomorrow, that's wildly unfair that they have to play each other in the first round. It really, I'm not saying they both deserve to play the Toronto Maple Leafs in round 1, but both of those teams have a chance to make the final if they didn't have, one of them getting eliminated in the first round. I find that to be a little bit unacceptable that those two teams are playing each other.
This is my thing, because I know there's a lot of talk about going back to 1v8 and stuff like that. And the majority of years, it doesn't change anything, but you have a year like this year where it absolutely would affect it. And this is my thing, Lowetide. Like, what would have stopped the Wild for the last 8 games of the season of just completely mailing it in and say, hey, we'd actually rather be wild card 2 and play right? Like, that's a real kind of argument.
Yeah. And I you know what? There is a world in which that would happen. In the NBA, it would happen.
That's the world in which it would happen.
Yeah.
It does not happen in hockey, in my opinion.
No, I mean,
but it could, right? Like, it's on the table with the playoff format.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Like, it is a thing that they could have decided to do, but like, I just don't think that's a thing in hockey.
It's not hockey.
They used to.
So.
The Oilers tried to win as many games as they could at the end of 2014-15, and they still end up with McDavid. I think there's a little superstition in hockey that if you give up, you're never going to be able to get it back. So they never really go stone cold like they do in the NBA. But the NBA is a different animal. It's a lot about matchups and that sort of thing. Presby Oilchrist says, McCurdy says a third pairing partner should be Emerson Stastny. Well, we had Kevin on Wednesday, and he was worried about the third pair, and there are some things that are, problematic, but that you're never going to have everybody running perfectly. I thought last night, I ran the numbers. Wallman Emerson at 5-on-5 played 16-01, 10-3 shots, 84% expected goals, 8-1 high dangers. They were 0-1 goals, but that's the reason that you pay attention to things like expected goals versus actual goals is that there can be an outlier GA, in this case, against Wallman Emerson, but it doesn't necessarily indicate what's going on when they're on the ice. Now, I know they were playing Vancouver, and Vancouver isn't very good. And Stastny is available there, but they have played Stastny not at all in recent days. So I don't think it would be fair to Spencer Stastny to play him in game 1 of the playoffs. And Wallman, he might be hurt, but if he's healthy enough to play last night, I think that you probably run him. I don't know that there'd be another better choice. I really do like Damian Carfagna down in the minor leagues, but he's left-handed. He's a guy who didn't, think enough to call up, so I doubt very much whether he's a part of it. And, they do have Alec Regula, but, he's still playing after a season where he didn't play very much at all. So I do want to talk about this right now, only for a minute, and then we're going to do NBA in the second segment in rumors, if that's okay, gentlemen. I want to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs a little bit. Word today that they're going to interview Matt Sundin for a position, which I think is the kind of thing you do when you've done bad. You know, it's like a friend of mine years ago. He had his mom and dad, great guy, great people. Dad was a dreamer, and mom was the person who sort of made sure the dreamer didn't get too carried away. One day, Dad, in the summertime, he comes home with a boat, like a little boat with a Johnson motor on the back, and they couldn't afford it. But he did it because he wanted to make his kids happy. Kids are thrilled. Mom says, send it back, right? There's got to be a hard ass in the group. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs right now are in turmoil, and they're trying to find a good news headline. And it's Sundin, and that's the way it's going to be. Hey, we got Matt Sundin. Everybody loves Matt. Well, Matt Sundin, has he been an AGM in the NHL for a long time? I don't think that he has. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs should do what they did when they hired Kyle Dubas. Get a forward-thinking general manager in there, like New Jersey did today with Sonny Mehta, and get a forward-thinking guy who understands analytics, but also understands the hockey and how it's played and the ins and outs and how to handle people, and then leave the general manager the hell alone. And the Maple Leafs can never do that. Not ever. Everything becomes a story in Toronto. Mitch Marner was a story, and now he's gone and he's in the playoffs. Maple Leafs aren't in the playoffs. It was an absolute, I'm thinking of a word that rhymes with bird and starts with a T, season for Toronto. You want to read about what happened and how it happened, I recommend James Myrtle's piece at The Athletic called "The Maple Leafs Accidental Tanks Highlights an Organization at Odds with Itself." The Leafs are a mess. Lots of organizations are. Lots of pro sports organizations are, because the individual who owns them or the people that own them can often disagree and with management, and they want to change the course immediately. I'll give you two examples in Edmonton. In 2012, on the way to the draft, the Oilers were there were reports on this, that, and the other, and they're going to do this and this and this. Not far before the draft, Daryl Cates hired Craig McTavish. And Mark Spector wrote, I think, the best article he ever wrote about this particular subject. Years later, he got a really good contact, and he wrote the piece, and I'm sure he pissed off the Oilers something fierce. But what happened was the amateur scouts gave the recommendation of the player they wanted, and I believe it was Ryan Murray. And Cates, Steve Tambellini, and Craig McTavish said, thanks very much, and they drafted Nail Yakupov. Now, I think Nail Yakupov was the right guy, but it shows that interference from ownership does have an impact, and the Oilers haven't won a thing since then. And it happened again this winter, and I'll tell you, I'm absolutely certain this is the case, even though I have no proof. Paul Coffey came to Edmonton because Daryl Cates wanted him here because he was tired. I was too, tired of those ridiculous outlet passes and the defense not playing a strong, structured defending game. So again, the Edmonton Oilers are a team that hires people but doesn't trust them, and then the owner has to step in. What Toronto Maple Leafs should do, and what Daryl Cates should do, is hire people you trust and are qualified, and then leave them the hell alone. And I really thought that Daryl Cates had done that with Ken Holland, and I am more and more convinced that he's not doing it now that Stan Bowman is here. And that's a damn shame, because you can't win if you have more than one person who's the boss. So Daryl Cates is the boss of the entire organization. Nobody's going to talk about that in any other way. But you have to let the hockey people be the hockey people, and you have to let the business people be the business people, and you have to be the owner. And that means you are not going, maybe every summer you review or something like that, but not during the year. And by the way, I agreed with Paul Coffey coming in. I think he's done a wonderful job. I just think it's a matter of business. It's a bad damn idea. And the other thing that Daryl Cates should do is make sure that his analytics people are being listened to across the board. There are examples of that, good and bad, in the organization right now. It's something they have to do moving forward. And if you want the worst case scenario, read the Myrtle piece and have a look at what the Toronto Maple Leafs look like today, where I'm not even sure Austin Matthews is going to be back in a year. All right. Okay. On the way, we have Declinations. Tell us again at 12:40, you and Josh are going to give your heart ballots and your...
Yeah. So the idea is to give both our heart and NBA MVP ballots. Now, if you are a math person, that's 4 instead of the usual 2 we do. So we'll see how time plays out for it, but that is what we want to do.
We'll try to maybe get you in early. How's that?
Yeah, whatever.
Right.
Listen, no
You know
pressure.
what? Lowetide says stuff and then he never delivers on it.
Listen, the NBA one's going to be me crying real tears about Luka not being number 1. So how's that for a tease?
Well, at least he lives on the second floor. Steve Lansky will join us from Inside the Truck podcast at 1 o'clock. We have Declinations at 12:40. Rumors on the way next, and we're going to dive deep a little bit on the NBA. Of course, we'll talk about the Oilers in the playoffs. And at 1:20 today, we'll give our predictions for the opening round series in the NHL. Our little roundtable will happen at 20 after 1. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z, promomarketing.ca.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATB Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATB Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour America's commemorative gift. Get yours at atbclassic.com.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every Edmonton playoff game for the Legacy Heating and Cooling postgame show. Visit the experts at legacyheating.ca.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's truck month. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. I have to confess something that I walked all over the Happy Days theme, which was the music coming out of the top of the hour. Although Declan loves that song, I'm really tired of it. And then he goes and does such a kind thing and play one of my favorite songs by The Cure, and now I feel bad. So I'm apologizing to you for running over your song in the first segment.
Show, so run over whatever you want.
I know. I felt bad, though, now that you played this song that I clearly love, and I mentioned many times that I love.
Who doesn't love The Cure? I was actually going to play that one, started it off, and then I had a little bit of a, light bulb moment, and I was like, hold on a second. Happy Days.
All right, it's time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. Now, we're going to spend the next couple of days talking about, who's in the lineup, who's not in the lineup. Is Leon going to play? What about Jason Dickinson? One assumes that Connor Ingram is going to start in goal. However, Calvin Pickard has been recalled by the Oilers on an emergency basis. I think it's just to have a third goalie around. We haven't heard very much about Tristan Jarry. We saw Ingram last night. You never know with goaltenders, though. They're just voodoo. It's like starting pitchers. Actually, it's like knuckleball starting pitchers. That's how unusual goaltenders are. So we'll wait and see. I tweeted out a second ago the Puckpedia update. They do this every year, and truly a brilliant website, I have to say. The overages for the Edmonton Oilers, minimal. So it's $250,000 in overages. They finished over the cap due to using LTIR, and Matt Savoy earned a $250,000 A bonus for time on ice. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. It's not as big a deal. There's still the buyouts to worry about, but the cap is going up. I don't know. Gregor said on the show on Monday, he doesn't know how many NHL teams are going to spend at the cap this summer. There's a lot of free agents. Some of these folks, in terms of the cities that they play in, they pushed the envelope for the ticket prices really to the edge. So are they going to do that more again? I don't know. And then, the opportunity might be available to a team like Edmonton to go out and acquire a player who's overpriced that another team is interested in offloading, and the Oilers might not have to pay full price in terms of assets to take on the contract. I can see that happening a lot more this year. Now, I mentioned that I wanted to talk about the NBA in this particular segment because we're just getting first blush of the playoffs in the National Hockey League now. We're talking about who might be in the lineup. Will Leon be in the lineup? And that sort of thing. The NBA a little farther along, and my learned friends to the right of me, as you play along at home, know a lot about the NBA. I'm excited that the 76ers are in. I'm also very realistic about their chances of, I think they play Boston on Sunday. So let me ask you, both of you, whoever wants to start first blush, in terms of the matchup, in terms of what you're seeing, who do you like as maybe an underdog, and who do you think is the favorite in a series who might have a problem based on how things look like they're going to match up?
My number one bona fide go-to on this
Josh
one.
There, by the way.
Oh, yeah, this is Josh.
Give your last name and your
Fenwick at JFenwick04
social insurance
on
number.
X. The one that I'm very high on because they're healthy now, I think they're better than a 6 seed suggests, is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think they can cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams in the East. I really like the game of Ayo Dosunmu and what he does. He's a solid two-way guard. And then, of course, they have Anthony Edwards, who is literally like a rabid dog. There's not really,
but in a good way.
In a good way,
right.
Like that, in the kind of way that you want, like rabid dog competitor. Off the chain, can score at all three levels. Doesn't matter if there's a hand in his face or not. Like he will go after it. And the Wolves and Nuggets have had some great bouts this year. So I think that's going to be one, an amazing series, and I think two, the Wolves as a 6 seed. A 6 seed won an NBA championship once upon a time, 1995, the Houston Rockets, shout out. They went into the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. I like the Timberwolves to upset a lot of stuff this year. I also wouldn't be surprised if they lost in the first round because they're playing the Nuggets.
Right.
That's the Wild versus the Stars.
All right. What about you?
Yeah, the Nuggets are the obvious choice. We talked about it a little bit on Duncan with Declan on Wednesday. Like, I don't know if the Timberwolves can actually. Did I just say the Nuggets, by the way? I meant Timberwolves.
You did say.
My apologies. I don't know if the Timberwolves can actually win the NBA title, but that is the only first round matchup where you're like, yeah, I could see it if either team does. As far as other underdogs, I picked the Raptors to beat the Cavs. It's probably not the best pick in the world. It's a lot of, belief.
Do you regret it?
No, listen, I'm going to roll with it. It's a lot of belief in what Darko did to build this team's identity this year. It's a lot of disbelief in James Harden's playoff abilities. The one that I would have liked myself to talk myself into, but I just can't do it. I would have loved to pick the Hawks. They've really become like a defensive-minded team with a real legitimate guy in Jalen Johnson. I just think the Knicks are a bad matchup. They just have too much talent. So yeah, Timberwolves, that would be the 6th seed to lock in on. But I want to be very clear. That's not a given because the Nuggets
are very good.
Very good.
They have the legitimate best player in the world on their team. And he somehow still doesn't really get the credit he deserves because of what SGA has done this year and Wemby and Luka when he was healthy.
So the other question I have is whenever we talk about the NBA, we say, there's probably 5 teams who could win it. But now we're here. And, it's one thing to fade the Celtics all year when we're talking about this, but they're the Celtics. And we obviously know about Oklahoma City, and there's great teams in the Midwest. What do you think? How many teams could legitimately win it?
I think there's 5. 6 if you include Minnesota, and I think Minnesota's a bit of a long shot, but I think there's 5.
I'm going to see if I can guess which 5 you're thinking of. Celtics, Thunder, Spurs, Nuggets, and then Pistons.
And the Pistons are, despite being the 1 seed in the East, they would be last on that totem pole.
Yeah, see, I would almost switch the Pistons and the Timberwolves.
So how many California teams are in there?
0.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the Lakers will make a big move, and then they'll win the championship a year from now.
Oh, they made a big move already. It's just unfortunate the Luka's down.
And Austin Reeves.
And Austin Reeves is down. And now their best player is 41. And like I said, sort of in jest on Wednesday, is now their second best player is DeAndre Ayton. Like, this is a problem.
Do you
Even
guys
Rui
disagree with me that there's a big Lakers trade coming that will change the course of history?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a trade.
A signing.
I think what they got to figure out this LeBron thing. Like, they got to figure out what they want to do with him. Like, he's not a max level player anymore, but he might be in some markets. And the thing about LeBron
is he now a problem just because they want him out of town and they can't do it without making it messy?
So this is what I was going to say. Like, he is still a very good player, very valuable player, second best player ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he stunts what this team should be by building, like he stunts the reset of building around Luka and letting Luka dominate the ball. Like, I don't think they can really take a next step with LeBron still on the roster. But the other side of that hand is like, how do you go to LeBron and say, we're moving on from you? Like, it's LeBron James. And he was second team All NBA last year. Like, he's still a very good player. So it's a weird spot to be in.
Who's the best free agent, and this is a tired question. I'm asking you an impossible to answer question on the fly, and I apologize. Who's the best option out there? Let's say LeBron leaves. Who's the best option out there for the Lakers to acquire, either by trade or free agency, that could come in and make that team whole?
That's a great question.
That's a really good question.
Oh God, it might be Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, it's tough because the NBA always kind of does a thing where, like, you might think a player's a free agent, but they're not because of the player option or because, like, there's a re-signing on top of what they already have. I
think it might be Porzingis because you get a big man with shooting.
And Porzingis, he doesn't really move the needle for me.
Okay.
I know, but he's better. He's an upgrade on a guy like.
I'll shelve this question and I'll ask you next week. You guys think about it.
But it sure as hell ain't like Trae Young. And respectfully, it's not James Harden either.
James Harden. No. Well, I can tell you that.
James is going to be all NBA. He's going to be probably third team all
NBA. Him and Luka are too similar.
No,
same with him and Austin Reeves. Like, it would be an absolute
and Trae's probably going to re-sign in Washington on a max deal.
Kristaps is a defensive anchor.
JB Bickerstaff wins Coach Association of the Award 2025-26 season. Pistons head coach. Are you in agreement, gentlemen?
Yeah, we released our mock ballots on socials a couple days ago. We actually need to update those with Cade and Luka being eligible. And we both had JB as our coach of the year. So well-deserved.
Right. And just before we leave the NBA, we're going to be taking a quick break and then Declinations coming up. And among the things they're going to be doing, Declan and Josh, are the Hart Trophy and NBA MVPs, correct?
Yes.
Bing pot.
All right. Very quickly, Maple Leafs are interviewing Matt Sundin for hockey operations role. This is a PR move. It's just the kind of thing you do. Ottawa did it with Alfredson years and years ago. The Oilers have brought in Gretzky, Messier, others during times. Coffey is not similar. Paul Coffey came for a reason, and he's done an exceptional job. I was initially cynical about it, and I am now wildly impressed with Paul Coffey. If you saw him play hockey in the National Hockey League, specifically with the Oilers, the idea that, 35 years later, Paul Coffey could come to this town and impress on the defense what he's done and have the impact that he's had in terms of defense, you'd be shocked because, my God, there were NHL coaches across the league who had Paul Coffey play for him who were frustrated by him. Scotty Bowman in his book talked about it at length. And Paul Coffey's a smart guy. That's a fact. And it's on display with the Edmonton Oilers right now. Kate Horton underwent Tommy John surgery. I knew it was bad when he was crying when he came off the mound. The injuries in Major League Baseball for pitchers are just awful right now. They just are. They're tragic. It's going to be like next year he won't pitch. He might pitch in A ball in August or September of next year, but that's it. He's gone basically for a couple of years. I hate it. I really do genuinely hate it. But that is every pitch has to be thrown as hard as possible, and the body just can't do that. It's the way it is. If the Bulls moved on from Jordan, the Fakers can move on from LeBron. From Dave Q.
Jordan moved on from the Bulls.
Yeah, Jordan retired. Now, to his credit, Phil Jackson's contract was expiring. Scotty was good. There was some stuff going on there. But make no mistake, Jordan retired. That was his second retirement.
When did he go play baseball with the White Sox? Was that his first retirement?
That was his first retirement.
Okay, all right. He could not hit a curveball.
No, but then, again, something I learned from watching The Last Dance is the hitting coach was like, yeah, man, he'd take 500 at bats on the breaking ball machine. It was kind of crazy. He had blisters all over his hands, but he just every day hanging out at the breaking ball machine.
It's brutal. I mean, don't sign with a major league team when you're that age because they don't care about you.
Well, he played in the minors. He didn't play for the Sox.
No, but they signed him as a PR stunt. They just used him.
Yeah, shout out to Reinsdorf, man.
Reinsdorf.
Savvy businessman.
Sure.
Not really, but.
Yeah. Listen, you kids out there, when you're playing a professional sport and you decide you want to try baseball, do it when you're 19, or not like Elway. Elway walked. Because he wanted to play football and he was going to make a lot more money doing that. All right, on the way, it's Declinations. I'm looking forward to this. Hart Trophy, NBA MVP, both guys going at it next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780-all-7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
I'm tired of waking up tired. Waking up tired. Yeah, waking up tired. Are you tired of waking up tired? Come visit our sleep experts at the Brick Mattress Store. Get Canada's guaranteed lowest prices on all things sleep. Plus, try your new mattress for 6 months. If you don't love it, we'll find one you do. Some conditions apply. Stop waking up tired. Get the right mattress guaranteed. Only at the Brick Mattress Store.
From the first face-off to the final, Sports 1440 is your home for hockey talk with live coverage, expert analysis, and pre- and post-game shows. We bring you closer to the game. Tune in 24/7 only on Sports 1440, Edmonton's sports station.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
$40 for Wolf GMC Buick. Alan Mitchell, Lowetide. Declan Krueger, Declinations. Josh Fenwick, well-known Mike Trout fan. We talked about Trout yesterday, and when I got to the card, hit another home run.
Yeah, first guy since Babe Ruth to have all the numbers he did. I don't remember them all off the top of my head. However, he had 5 home runs, at least one in each game. So,
man,
again, like I said yesterday, the levels of back we're at with Mike Trout have never been seen before in sports.
He hit Flushing in the Bronx, and they were not ready. It's time for Declinations, brought to you by Fairway Divorce Solutions, the clear road to a new life. There's a better way. Fairwaydivorce.com. And now, with top 5 NHL Hart Trophy, top 5 NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan, Josh, and Declinations.
Yeah, so I think I'll give my top 5 Hart ballot here, 5 through 1, and then I'll let Josh go. Then maybe he can start NBA, time permitting, and then I'll go ahead and give mine. So yeah, coming in at number 5 for me, I went with David Pasternak. Really good season, man.
Yes,
solid season. Yeah,
well done by you. I left him off, the one that I sent you, but I wanted to put him on.
No, listen, 100-point player in 77 games. The plus minus isn't great. That'll happen on a team like that. The biggest thing for me, first of all, his 5-on-5 numbers were very good. He was pretty much top 7, top 5 across the board in a lot of different categories. The big thing for me that pushed him over the edge was his next leading scorer on that team, Morgan Geekie, was 55th in the league and kind of fell off a little bit. And quite bluntly, no one thought the Bruins were going to be a playoff team. Obviously, we all ran back our picks from earlier in the season, and they got there. They were a 100-point team, so I wanted to show him some love. I had him number 5.
Okay.
I had Macklin at number 4. I'm never big on giving a guy on a team that misses the playoffs a Hart spot, because my thing's always kind of been like, you know what, if you miss it at 16th spot with 50 points, or you miss it at 11th spot with 86 points, like, you still miss it. You're still at home on the couch watching when it matters most. But his season was just so undeniable. We're putting him in Gretzky conversations when it comes to a teenager. 45 goals, 70 points. He's not going to win it, but I wanted to recognize his season and show him some love, so I put Macklin number 4.
I think that's fair. I didn't have him on mine, for the reasons that you mentioned. But honestly, if you're going to put somebody like that on the list, he'd be the guy, because he had such a splendid season, and you can see what he's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Now my 3-2-1. I think it's pretty obvious who the 3 players are. So I spent a lot of time going into this. I looked at 18 different I'm not going to call them advanced, but maybe semi-advanced statistical categories. We're talking per 60 per game, even strength, 5-on-5, all strength, things like that. Then I actually have 6 more. I'll get to that as well, with the goal for percentages at all strengths, expected goal for percentages. But of these 18 categories I looked at, Nathan MacKinnon was first in 9 of them. Nikita Kucherov was first in 9 of them. Connor McDavid was first in none. Nikita Kucherov was second in 8 of them. McDavid and McKinnon were second in 5 each. Nathan MacKinnon was last of these 3 players. He was last in 4 of them. Kuch was last in 1 of them. McDavid was last in 13 of them. So I'll go through them all here really quickly, and it is a lot of numbers, so try and keep up, and my apologies in advance. Even strength points, McKinnon led the league. Cooch was second in the league. McDavid was fourth in the league. Even strength assists, Cooch led the league. McKinnon was second in the league. Connor was fourth in the league. Even strength goals, McKinnon led the league. Cooch was fourth. McDavid was sixth. 5-on-5. Now, this is different from even strength because that obviously also includes 4-on-4 and 3-on-3. Nathan McKinnon led the league in points. Kucherov was second. McDavid was sixth. Even strength assists, McKinnon and Kucherov were actually tied for first. McDavid was 12th. Even strength goal or 5-on-5 goals, McDavid was second in the league. McKinnon was second in the league. Cooch was sixth. McDavid was 11th. Now, points per 60 at all strengths, Kucherov led the league. McDavid was second. McKinnon was third. Goals per 60 at all strengths, Nate was third. Cooch was sixth. Connor was 20th. Assists per 60 at all strengths, Cooch led the league. McDavid was second. Nathan McKinnon was seventh. At even strength, Cooch led the league. Points per 60. Nathan McKinnon was second. Connor McDavid was seventh. At goals per 60 at even strength, Nate was second. Cooch was third. McDavid was 22nd. Assists per 60, Cooch led the league. Wide margin, by the way. Nathan McKinnon was second. McDavid was sixth. 5-on-5. And again, this is a lot of repetition, so I appreciate you sticking with me. 5-on-5. Points per 60. Cooch led the league. McKinnon was second. McDavid was 16th. Goals per 60. Nate was fourth. Cooch was fifth. Connor was 27th. Assists per 60. Cooch led the league. Again, crazy margin. The difference between him and the guy in number 2, who was Nate, was about the same as Nate and the guy in number 10. And Connor was 26. Points per game. Cooch led. McDavid was second. Nate was third. Goals per game. McKinnon led. McDavid was third. Cooch was fourth in the league. Assists per game. Cooch led. McDavid was second. Nathan McKinnon was fifth. Now, this was kind of a telltale sign for me that wrapped it up. The goal for percentage at all strength, Nathan McKinnon led the league. Nikita Kucherov was fifth. Connor McDavid was 29th. At even strength, Nathan McKinnon was second. Kucherov was eighth. Connor McDavid was 69th at 55.4. The 5-on-5 goal for percentage, Nathan McKinnon led the league at 70.42. 100-42, by the way. Incredible stuff. Kucherov was fifth. Connor McDavid was 110th, and he was actually 3% below expected. Nathan McKinnon was 14 over. Cooch was 7th. So my ballot went McDavid 3, McKinnon 2, Cooch 1. I originally had McKinnon number 2, I originally had McKinnon number 3 and Connor number 2. I flipped them, and I almost flipped McKinnon and Cooch. I almost put McKinnon number 1 and Cooch number 2. But what sold it for me was Nathan McKinnon's teammates, Marty Necas, 7th in the league in scoring, and then Cale Makar next at 29th. Connor McDavid, I know it was only 65 games of Dry, but still, it's not like he played 17 and missed 65. He played 65 and missed 17. Dry was 9th. Bush was 11th. For Cooch, he was 15th, and Hagel was 37th. And then kind of a deciding factor, quite bluntly, one team was 41-41 playing in the Pacific. One team won the President's Trophy, and the other team was a 50-win team in a tough Atlantic as well. So that's kind of how it all broke down for me. The plus minus is also overall McKinnon 57, Kucherov 43, McDavid 17. So yeah, I went McDavid number 3, McKinnon number 2, Kucherov number 1. The power play numbers heavily favor McDavid. And I want to be clear, this is a year, if McDavid gets it, 1000% get it. If Kucherov gets it, 1000% get it. If McKinnon gets it, 1000% get it. But I went Nikita Kucherov 1, Nathan McKinnon 2, Connor McDavid 3, Macklin Celebrini 4, David Pasternak 5.
Josh.
So my number 5 is Cole Caulfield. Shout out to the guy. 50-point scorer on the Habs.
50-point scorer?
50 goal scorer. I mean, my apologies. Damn. Okay. I opened up. Declan had some stuff open on the laptop when I got in this morning. Super helpful when I was just like perusing. I don't have anything written down, much like young Declan over here did, because I guess my heart just wasn't as in it as he was. So I have to do better in the future of matching his freak. Essentially, led the league in goals per 60 in all situations. Very fun, and he has 12 game-winning goals, which is set first in the league. My apologies. Shout out to him. 4th, I also have Macklin Celebrini. I think +8 on a team that's -41, absolutely unreal. Franchise's all-time leading scorer now, or for a single season. So I just think what you saw him do this year, regardless of making it to the playoffs or not, I think he at least deserves a vote. Can't be top 3. If they had made the playoffs, he absolutely would have been 1 on my ballot. But alas, here we are. Because Will Smith had 59 points in 69 games played. Macklin Celebrini has 115. So just shy of doubling him, and he doubled up or more everyone else on the Sharks. Shout out to Celebrini. 3 for me, I have Nathan McKinnon. I know all the numbers that Declan just listed off and everything.
They shocked me when I looked them up.
They
were really impressive.
Really good 5-on-5. I mean, like again, I agree with Declan on the whoever wins, of this top 3, you can't be upset.
Right.
So I just sort of ordered it off. I think McKinnon had a super strong team. Obviously, the President's President Trophy winning team, and he's obviously a huge part of that. My goodness, love his game. I just think all in all, he does have a lot of help. But again, if he wins, more power to him. He's unreal. 2, I have McDavid. Sorry, Oilers fans. I think he plays with the most significantly worst team out of the top 3 here, just based on injuries, how slow they started, wishy-washy, all the things. Obviously, like we watched all 82 games of them this year. We very intimate in the knowledge of what a crapshoot the Oilers season has been so far. But that stretch in December, basically from when you said he needed to start putting points on the board for, what was it, 17 straight games, tying his career high, or setting the new career high for him in points in straight games. Absolutely unreal. Best player on the planet. Art Ross winning player this year. However, my number 1 is Nikita Kucherov. I think he plays, well, I know he plays in the East, which is the stronger conference this year, and he plays in the Atlantic, which is in my opinion, the strongest division this year. Put up 109 points with the Lightning put up 109 points, and Kuch he put up more points in 3 weeks than a bunch of other NHL teams were able to put on the board all season. Like, it was unreal what this guy was doing. To me, I think the Lightning are much less without Nikita Kucherov playing on their team than the Oilers or Avalanche are playing with McKinnon and McDavid. No disrespect to either of those guys, but I think Kucherov this year has been absolutely unreal.
All right, it's 12:50. Lowdown with Lowetide. We're in Declinations. Do we have time for the NBA MVPs?
Yeah, I think we rattled them off we had a more in-depth conversation last year, so I think last week we'll be able to rattle these off pretty quickly.
All right.
My number 5, Cade Cunningham, only played 64 games, was relatively inefficient in those 64 games he played. However, best player on the best team in the East, without a doubt. He had a great season, absolutely deserves to be in the top 5. My number 4, I'm underrating him. He should be number 1 on my ballot, probably. Greatest player in the world, Nikola Jokic. But to me, I dropped him out of the top 3. And honestly, looking at it, I hate myself every day because of it. But alas, this is my bed. I must lie in it. This is where I had him ranked. I can't change it now. So number 4 is Nikola Jokic, leading the league in rebounds and assists as a center.
It's very harsh to hate yourself every day, though.
Because of putting Jokic at number 4. He's the greatest player on the planet. He should win the MVP this year. And I'm now showing not media bias. What's the one where media fatigue or voters fatigue right there with Nikola Jokic. Sorry, Nikola Jokic. Number 3, I have Luka Doncic. I think clearly we have seen he played 64 games again this year, but how much lesser the Lakers are without him, I would say Luka Doncic absolutely deserves to be in the top 3 there. Number 2, SGA, best player on the best team, the pinnacle of consistency, super efficient. I mean, he's averaging almost 30 points per game on 50, 40, 90 splits. He shoots the 2 ball incredibly well. Like, if he's going to win this year, and I'm not going to be upset about it because I think he is the second best player on the planet, third best player on the planet, because the second best player on the planet is number 1 on my ballot, Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs are nowhere close to what they are this year without Victor Wembanyama.
Maybe.
No.
54 win pace without him in 15 games, but that's fine.
In 15 games, come on, man. Like, it's
actually more, I think.
I could give a rip. What are the teams they played in those 15 games? Like, Wemby is absolutely unreal. So impactful on the defensive end of the ball, which he was very right about. We underrate the defensive side of the ball in the MVP conversations. Does it have to be 50-50? No, but I think his gravity, to me, I put him number 1.
All right, Declan.
Okay, I also have Cade Cunningham, number 5. Great season by Cade. Couldn't be higher than number 5, unfortunately. I think everyone who watches basketball knows that. Number 4, I actually last minute change. I'm putting Wemby. So I looked it up. It's actually, and this is kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie to you. It's actually a 55 win pace without him. I outlined the numbers. Barely top 15 in scoring. He's not top 15 in field goal percentage. As a 7'5" center among players to take 10 or more shots a game. He's not top 25 in true shooting. His defensive gravity is amazing. I also think he's the second best player in the world. By the way, I have him number 4. Number 3, I have Luka. I wanted to put him number 1 so badly. I was basically on my knees pleading and crying with you guys to agree with me that he's number 1. Unfortunately, as the season unfolded, I can only put him number 3. Number 2, I have SGA, most consistent player, and he's the best player on the best team, and he's going to win it, and he will, to a large degree, deserve it. I wouldn't fully, give it to him, but he's going to deserve it. And number 1, this is what sold it for me. First of all, he led the league in rebounding and assists as a center. By the way, DeAndre Jordan led the league in rebounds. Chris Paul led the league in assists. Think about how different those two players are. Nikola Jokic did both of it, first player in NBA history. And someone said, if you memory wiped the last 5 years with the Men in Black Rays and just gave us this season, Nikola Jokic would be MVP without a shadow of a doubt. I agree with that. He's my number 1.
All right.
Great shout.
That was interesting.
He is the MVP. I sold, quite frankly.
I enjoyed that. That was good. I'm just sad Joel Embiid can't be there.
Well, he's got one already.
Played more games, maybe he would be.
I don't know. I think he's a little bit toast from what he was. It happens. There are players who lose a lot of their career to injury, and he is certainly one of them. All right. I enjoyed that, men. Thank you. I think I narrowly disagree with the Hart Trophy. I believe I had McKinnon number 1, and then McDavid, and then Kucherov. But I agree with both of you when you said, I think Declan used percentage incorrectly and said 1,000. But the point is that any of those 3 winning it, I think you'd have to say, yeah.
What would be really funny is if you just attacked us for how wrong our NBA ballots were.
Well, number 1, I don't know the game that well, and that's why we have you take that. But number 2, I'm just interested in hearing your conversation in regard to it seems to me that we have some of the greatest players who've ever lived in the NBA, and parsing this, I can tell by your voices and your justification of why somebody's 3 or somebody's 1, it must be very difficult. So I can enjoy it on that level, although I can't speak to it because I don't spend as much time at the NBA as you, but I thank you for bringing that. It's good information.
NBA viewership up huge this year. 89%, or is it 189%? I think it was up 89% in relation to last year.
No, that's
the
good.
People are recognizing the NBA.
Good.
It's fantastic because I think this was a great product that got put on the floor this year.
If you love the NBA regular season and the NBA playoffs, wait till the NBA offseason. That's when it gets really wild. All right, on the way, Steve Lansky will join us from Inside the Truck podcast. We're going to talk about the Oilers, the game last night, what's ahead against Anaheim, Stanley Cup chances. At 1:20, we're all going to do a roundtable. We're going to pick our winners in the first round series. And, of course, we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. So stay tuned. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right for homes or for businesses. Visit the new showroom, 115-771 49th Street, now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2. You can, of course, also visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. The Edmonton Oilers have recalled goaltender Calvin Pickard from the Bakersfield Condors on an emergency basis. No injury to Connor Ingram or Tristan Jarry. Vancouver Canucks have fired general manager Patrick Alvin after finishing the season last in the NHL with 14 fewer points than 31st placed Chicago. Texans and All-Pro defenseman Will Anderson Jr. have agreed to a historic 3-year, $150 million extension to make him the highest-paid non-quarterback. The deal, including a no-trade clause, rare for the NFL, and $134 million in guaranteed money. NBA play-in tonight gets going at 5:30 with the Hornets and the Magic. The 8 o'clock game will see the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns. And in the MLB right now, Cubs lead the Mets 6-3, while the Orioles and Guardians will throw out the first pitch at 4:10. Elsewhere in the league, we'll of course see the Toronto Blue Jays against the Diamondbacks. 7:40 first pitch as they're on the road. Lauer on the mound. And in the AJ, Game 1 of the championship gets going tonight from JDA Place in Whitecourt between Canmore and the Wolverines. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our number one selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value for a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Hi everyone, Sarah
and Neil
from Arcan RV.
We are back and we're celebrating spring with Arcan Days.
Well, we were always here. We've been around for 49 years.
That's true. We're kicking off another amazing RV season with some huge deals, showcasing our new brand, Krueger, Raptor toy haulers, and Coleman trailers starting at just $17,999.
Plus, special finance rates on remaining 2025 models with an extra $2,500 trade-in credit. Check out arcanrv.com for details. Connecting you to RVing since 1977.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month, featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. Just ahead of Steve Lansky from Inside the Truck. The lines from today's practice are McDavid with Savoy and Hyman. No surprise there. Draisaitl with Podkolzin and Kapanen. I wrote about that in The Athletic today. That's a great line because it allows you to run a third line that could outscore. And Nuge is playing with Henrique and Roslovic. And then the fourth line, Szymanski with Doc and Frederick. Dickinson probably gets inserted into that fourth line when everybody's healthy. The defense stays the same. Ingram listed as the top name, so the starter. And obviously Jari and Calvin Pickard was recalled on an emergency basis. No injuries, I don't think. Just want to make sure that they don't have to use the E-bug in Game 3. And I'm with them. Welcome to the show, and we love you. Steve Lansky, how are you? We seem to be having the he's talking and we can't hear him issue, but we will get in touch with Steve and we'll talk to him a little. I want to talk about the Oilers, obviously, but also get into a little bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs and the year they had and the difficulty they had. We seem to be having a problem every week with Steve in regard to getting him online in terms of a video of him. And so maybe we'll just go back to radio and television and phones, and maybe it'll work. But I think there are storylines that kind of break up now. You know, you've got the playoffs and everybody who has a team that they care about in the playoffs, you're focused on that. But now we have this other story, and that's Toronto and Vancouver and Calgary and others, and that's going to be fun too. And then the draft. So it really gets exciting for fans. Steve Lansky joins us now. Steve, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am well. I wanted to ask you, the Oilers went into yesterday needing a win, obviously, and things had to break their way. I think they did. I didn't want to see LA Kings again against Edmonton. I've seen that, that movie a few times recently. Is that how you felt? You'd like to see maybe Anaheim instead against Edmonton in the first round?
I guess so. I mean, there's a few things that scare me about Anaheim. Joel Quenneville, whether you like him or not, based on what happened in Chicago, the guy can coach, and I don't love facing that. And I don't love facing Ducks goaltending if it gets hot. But the problem is, I think I posted about a week ago, they needed to win the division is what they needed to do. And I realized that still would have got them LA. But I think they're going to have their hands full. But Connor Ingram's going to have to do something he's never done before, and that's maybe win a series, a lot of it on his own.
Well, they also have, my concern is Radko Gudas is on the team, and so is Jacob Trouba. And it's the wild, wild west, and sometimes defensemen play outside the law. They have that gear. LA does too, so you couldn't avoid it. But I agree with you on Quenneville, and their goaltending can steal a game. I've watched that fellow play in the AHL and the NHL, and he's done it at both levels. I do think if we're looking at it from 10,000 feet or after the series, if Edmonton does win, one of the things we'll talk about is maybe a lack of experience from some of the most important players on the team in Anaheim.
Maybe I think that's a valid point, but I think the Oilers have to not, it's a cliche, but not get ahead of themselves. They've gone to the final twice. They know exactly what it feels like. Most of them know exactly what it feels like. Although there's some younger guys that don't, which is great. But I think they, cliche again, one period at a time, one game at a time, one shift at a time, that kind of thing. And I really do think Connor Ingram's got to make about 2-3 saves a game that maybe he has no business making. And I think that would get him off on the right foot. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know. I haven't thought about this till now. I think they got to win both games at home to start, or it's going to be a real slog.
Right. And I think what most people wanted was them to get through one series without losing anybody and maybe not, using all their energy up. I picked Anaheim in 6 because we're going to do that next break. But because I think that, I picked Edmonton in 6 because I think that there will be a couple of weird officiating calls, and one of the games probably gets won by the Anaheim goaltender. But when you're picking one team over another in 6, there are enough questions that you can't be surprised if it goes the other way. What kind of summer do you think the Oilers would have if they lost in round 1 to Anaheim? Would we see a coaching change, maybe a big trade? What's your thought on that?
I think it depends why they lost. I honestly do. I think I wouldn't feel overly comfortable speculating on that because I think it depends why they lost. Was it goaltending? Was it just a complete lack of heart? Was it a defensive breakdown all around? Did Anaheim's goaltender just stand on his head? And did maybe their defense punish McDavid and Hyman and anybody else a little more than they thought they were going to be punished? Like it could be a bunch of reasons they don't win. I don't see a sweep. If you told me it was going to go 7 for the Oilers, I would buy that. But I think it's going to be a tough first round. And the sad part is it ain't going to get any easier after that.
No. The Golden Knights, it's not talked about much, but they changed their coach. Their goaltending was exceptional down the stretch. They ended up winning the division and did it on merit because when the Oilers saw Vegas in Vegas, they weren't very good. And then when they saw them here in Edmonton, they were exceptional. It really did turn on a dime. And if that's their second round matchup, that's a load. And then your third round matchup might be somebody like, Colorado or Minnesota or Dallas. This is a real hornet's nest in the West.
Totally. I mean, you can put me on record if you want. The Oilers are not going to get past Colorado. It's not going to happen. So somebody's got to get rid of Colorado before they get there. I think they're going to have their hands full with Vegas because Vegas isn't going to turn on Tortorella before the end of these playoffs. They'll turn on him at some point, and that'll be the end of him, but it's not going to happen now. And he's got everybody doing everything in the right direction. As soon as they fired Bruce Cassidy, I looked at a buddy and said, uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know they'd go undefeated, but it was like, you know what? They're going to go into the playoffs on the biggest high in the history of highs, and damn it if they're not, that's tough. I mean, and that's why I said the Oilers can't look ahead. You know, don't worry about what the wall you got to get over next. Just worry about this wall right now.
Yeah, and it's when you start out, like, we'll find out about Leon Draisaitl. He was skating well yesterday, and I have a sneaking hunch that he'll be in the lineup for game one and ready to roll. But it's the playoffs in the National Hockey League are like unlike any sport I know, in that it is, you know, people say, well, it's a war of attrition. Yeah, but it is like it's painful to watch because everybody starts the playoffs and they look healthy and they're brilliant, and then by the end of it you can just tell that they've lost 12 pounds, that, you know, they may lose a finger, and there's probably 2 off-season surgeries, and they look gaunt. This is a tough thing to watch, and you know, I mean, I don't know that there's an easy out in the National Hockey League right now because everybody's different shades of equal, but if the longer they can stay healthy and the more they can dress the best players who are available to them, I think the better chance for any team to win the Stanley Cup.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I'm the Anaheim Ducks, my meeting right now is pound 97 and pound 29. One of them's going to break. I think the odds are 29 is going to be the one. But if I can hit either one of them, I am doing that nonstop. Well, that's funny for 4 games, but it's not funny for 23 games.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a real, and then that happens. The Oilers can't lose their cool. Darnell Nurse can't pull a Darnell Nurse and start running around and you know, losing any amount of composure he may or may not have at this point. I think they're going to, you know, Joel Quenneville's no dummy. I know what he's thinking, and I'd be thinking the same thing. And we don't know if Leon's 100. Maybe Leon's only 78. Oh, geez. I wouldn't want to go into that series at 78. I'll tell you, that's just me.
Well, and you know, your point is well taken, and we've seen a lot of hockey where guys are targeted with whatever injury, you know, they have, and you know, there's enough reporting to, you know, guess pretty well. And this is a veteran coach, as you say. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the Toronto Maple Leafs today. I noticed that I've been reading a little bit. I read Myrtle's piece in The Athletic. I read a few other Athletic pieces and some others as well, from Arthur and others. And I, you know, today it's announced that Sundin is going to interview for a job. I just feel like that's PR. This sounds, I'm not saying it's Harold Ballard level, you know, chaos, but it feels to me like the Toronto Maple Leafs are about to go into a fairly long period of not knowing what the hell they're doing.
Help me out. Did that period ever end? I'm just asking for a friend.
Yeah.
I'm wondering when that period ever ended. It's so strange. It's almost impossible. And I'm sitting at the corner of Yonge and Birch in Toronto right now, so I'm right in the middle of it. And everybody is just befuddled about what's happened. Marner's gone. The whole thing fell apart. There's just this strange malaise around a bunch of guys who have it all, and they just can't figure out how to roll 7 on the dice. And it's the strangest thing. And I guess, you know, people here, like, now it's Keith Pelly, you know, 5 years from now, it'll be somebody else. They think they have the magic bullet. They think they can, you know, and you have to remind me, you said you read Myrtle's piece and you read Arthur's piece in The Athletic. Was one of them mentioning when Pelly was in the draft and he was asking questions about, and all he had was a bunch of AI in front of him on a paper? Is that one of those two? Yeah. Yeah. So it's funny, right? And it's so not funny at the very same time. It's like, are you kidding me? And then when you say Harold Ballard, like, Harold Ballard used to do the craziest bat crap stuff that, he wanted Roger Nielsen to wear a bag, for God's sake, after he'd fired him, and then nobody would take the job. So we'll take you back, Rog, but you got to go on the bench with a bag on your head. Like, this is borderline insane. And I just keep reading stuff like that, and I'm like, what is it? Is it the water? Is it the pressure in this town? It could be any of those things.
Well, and it's the farther you get, like, you drafted Matthews, you've got Nylander, you've got Marner. Now Marner's gone. They were going to, do a lot of great things with that Marner money. Well, they spent it on third and fourth line guys, and that didn't work. But even now, and I've said this all along, NHL teams, they've got two reasonable goaltenders there in Toronto. They have Matthews, or they could trade Matthews for something really good. There's talent there. It doesn't have to take 10 years, but I get the feeling we're going to be talking about the Leafs in the draft lottery for the next 3 years, and it's partly because the leadership is just nowhere to be found. And I'm reminded of the Scotty Bowman tweet from years ago, or a comment from years ago, where he was asked why the Montreal Canadiens were so successful, and he said the Molson family shows up for a skate twice a year before we skate on Sunday for the Sunday game, and then they are there for the photo at the end of the year, the team photo. They're in there as well, and we don't see them. They don't talk to Sam Pollock. They don't talk to me. They let us do our business. I don't know how the Maple Leafs will ever get there, but that's what they need.
So I loved what you said, and the only phrase you left out is second guessing. The problem is here in Toronto, I think it's a big part of it. Everybody second guesses everybody. Berube's great. Brad Treliving's going to be great. Oh, and the second guessing starts. Next thing you know, Treliving's going to be out. Well, guess what? Berube's going to be out on his ass soon enough. Pete DeBoer would have come in here if he hadn't been hired. I'm guessing. Because they'll go for the biggest name. They'll grab a Mike Babcock. They'll grab a this. They'll grab a that. And then all of a sudden, it's almost like, dogs in a circle. And the next thing you know, they're all picking and fighting at each other. And it's the weirdest dynamic I've ever seen in sports. It would be a great thesis for college to go in there and go, what the hell is wrong with you people? And then just write the answers you get. That's it. Guaranteed A.
Yeah, it's the thing that drives me nuts. Like, I'd like to watch team building, right?
Yeah.
But, they've even buggered that up, because the Leafs, like, the draft lottery is coming, and there's a 58.2% chance that the Leafs will slip to 6th or 7th in that lottery, and then that pick goes to the Boston Bruins because of the dumbass trade they made. And that's what I don't understand. The Leafs have to be self-aware that they can't make trades like that, because they're not so good that they can guarantee they're not going to be in the damn lottery. If I'm a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
I've never seen a group of people who are more mesmerized by BS in my entire life. I mean, Keith Pelly ran the European Golf Tour. Does that strike you as the guy you want to come in and lead this group out of the wilderness and back into the playoffs and back into 1967 with the Stanley Cup? That doesn't strike me as that guy. But what the hell do I know? But you walk in a room, you talk fancy, everybody gets confused, and the next thing you know, you got Shanahan in there, you got Treliving, and they all got a lot of mouth. There's a lot of mouth, but there's not a lot of everything else.
Yeah, I think that I don't know what the Leafs need. I know they need a general manager who's really smart, but I think and a great coach. But more than anything, they need the people who are above them in the management tree to shut the hell up
and get the hell out of the way. Like, everybody knew the Molson family ran the Montreal Canadiens forever. Can you name like 5 members of the Molson family? I can remember Senator Hartland Molson, but I worked in hockey forever. Like, you're right. They were so in the background that people can tell you everything about Harold Ballard. Well, that's not what you want. That's not a recipe for success.
No, it's true. The more well-known the owner is, the poorer the chances to win the Stanley Cup. I think that's a fair thing to say.
I think that's a direct arrow between the two. I can't disagree with that at all.
I know you're going to say what the weather like is in Toronto, and I'm prepared to hate you, but what's the weather like in Toronto?
Well, the grass is green beside me. Everything's green. There is a lady walking past me, brushing her blonde hair. I'm not making this up. Wearing a white tank top and a lovely skirt with some brown boots, talking on the phone. There is not a cloud in the sky, but now I'll make you feel better. We're supposed to get 20 millimeters of rain tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's kind of been up and down, but I got to tell you, the grass is 100% green. I'm looking at it, and there are buds on the tree outside my window. I'm going to take a picture when we're done, so you know I'm telling the truth.
Well, I will say this, that your description of the young lady and the situation around sounds like a producer to me. You created a very nice picture, sir.
That was my job. It's radio. I got to paint a picture with. I left a few things out that I thought that might not be PC.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it, but I could have flourished it up a little bit, but I did my best.
Well, I'll use my imagination on the other end. Thank you, Lansky.
And that's what radio's for, buddy.
Have a great one.
You too, Al. Take care.
There you go. Steve Lansky, and live from Toronto. Sorry, we apologize for the we want to get him on video, but sometimes it's not available in Toronto.
I think there are storylines that kind of
video capabilities.
Steve, how are you?
I'm teasing, of course.
Exciting.
On the way,
For
we're going to
fans.
make our picks,
Steve
the three of us, in a roundtable edition
For
of
fans.
NHL hockey playoffs first round. Who's going to win? How many games? We've got that next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our number one selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO. Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial. If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Good to go. Good to go. With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. Mortgagestogo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, excavators, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, packers, road reclaimers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Industrial Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa Equipment Rentals realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's truck month. Check them out. WolfGMCBuick.com. It's Friday. Jason Krueger on the way with his usual Friday lineup. Look forward to that. Lots to talk about. The Oilers, Leon Draisaitl, will he play game one? I think there's a growing sense that he will. Oilers recalled Calvin Pickard. Looks like everybody's healthy. Probably just insurance against the E-bug. And right now, we're going to pick every winner in each series in the NHL. It's our headliner of the day. Playoff season is here, and the last thing you need is debt stealing the thrill. A free consultation with the local Faber licensed insolvency trustee could be the turning point. Visit faber.ca. All right. We're going to start in the Eastern Conference, and let's begin with Buffalo and Boston.
You want me to start?
Sure.
All right. Give me the Sabres. I believe in the Sabres. I'll say Sabres in 6.
Okay. Declan?
I really want to pick the Sabres. But listen, I'm interested to know where you come out. Obviously, you're a Boston fan. Boston's not some like been through it deep team or anything like that. Like I'll pick the Sabres in 7, but I don't love this pick.
Well, I'm going to pick the Boston Bruins in 7, and I don't love that pick either.
I was going to go that direction.
And the reason I don't like the pick is because I've watched the Bruins since Orr, and I like this team a lot, and I love that they got geeky, and of course, Pasternak, I'm a massive fan of. Zaka, they've been relatively healthy compared to previous years. Arvidsson certainly turned his, he had turned in a really good season after playing at Edmonton. I don't love the team, and I think they'll win this round, but I'm not confident they'll go deep. I will go Boston, but in 7, and if it goes the other way, I wouldn't be surprised.
It sounds like both of your guys' picks, honestly, on both sides.
Yeah, I think that's about fair. All right, Tampa Bay, Montreal.
This one is just purely off. This is what I want to see happen. I'm sure the Lightning will actually win this, but give me the Canadiens in 7.
Nice.
Yeah, like I could see it, man. I'm going to go Lightning in 6, but I don't think this is a walkover. You know what? This series has the second highest betting odds in the entire NHL behind only the Avalanche and Kings in favor of the Lightning. I think that's a little bit generous. I'm going to take the Lightning in 6, but don't sleep on the Canadiens.
I have the Lightning going in 5. I think Montreal is a really good team, but I just think they came here in a hurry, and I think there will be a little bit of nerves that won't happen a year from now. I'll say Tampa Bay wins this. I have high hopes for Tampa Bay this year in the playoffs. I think they will be a load for anybody, including Montreal in the first round. Carolina, Ottawa.
Give me the Canes in 4. I don't think the Sens are ready for the moment. I think the Canes, this is what they do in the first round. They're just going to steamroll the Sens.
Yeah, I think the Canes will win in 5, but I actually think kind of similar to what I said about the Trailblazers I think the Sens will throw some punches. They're not going to roll over, but I'll still take Canes in 5.
Yeah, I've got the Canes in 5, and I admit to having a bias here. It's an analytics kind of a team. They have I think more depth than they've had in the past. I like their goaltending. I think there's a lot to like about Carolina, but I think the odds are you're going to lose one just because something goes in off someone's ass. Now, this is going to be fun. Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. How the hell did Philadelphia get here? And they are. That's an interesting series.
It's an exciting series. I would say this is the series I'm most looking forward to.
It's just going to be fun.
It's just going to be super exciting. Obviously, like with the history of with Sid versus the Flyers, and I don't like a single guy on that team, not one. I think the Gwins get this. I'm going to take Pittsburgh in 6.
Yeah, the crazy thing about the Flyers is do they have one good player? You know what I mean? Or one
Trevor
Zegras, really good player. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't wait for the series. I am going to take the Penguins in 7.
I have the Flyers in 6. I think the best goalie in the series is in Boston. Used to be in Calgary.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, sorry. in Philadelphia, and I think that I just think there's a lot of miles on the Penguins.
It's totally fair. Totally fair. That being said, Sidney Crosby is the best player in that series.
Outstanding, no doubt about it.
Also, shout out to Dan Vladar as a guy who watched him
I liked
a
him.
lot
I
over the
always liked
last
him.
like 2 years. The previous 2 seasons. I did not think he would be this.
I wanted the Oilers to trade. I wrote about it in everything I've ever written. I've written that Vladar was a good guy, a good target for the Oilers when he was in Calgary, and it didn't work out. All right, we're on our way to the West. We will save Edmonton for the last, if you gentlemen are okay with that. We'll start with Colorado and the Los Angeles Kings.
Colorado in 4 by like a goal differential of 16.
I'm gonna say Colorado in 5.
If I could say Colorado in 3, I would, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, I think that Ken Holland has created an old team that hasn't won anything. That's hard to do, but he did it. And I still think there's great talent there, but I don't think they're going to find their way in LA. They're going to make a mistake and trade a young player, and that young player is going to be a superstar elsewhere. Dallas, Minnesota. This for me is like the ultimate. This is so unfair. Yeah. This is so unfair for everybody involved. I don't care what fan you are of the team. This should be the series that changes the rule. This is nuts that they're playing each other in first round.
Without a doubt. I will take the Wild in 7.
It's a good guess.
Yeah, I'm really back and forth on this one. I will go with Dallas in 7 just because I think they're going to have home ice in game 7, and that'll, maybe factor in. I think it's such a 50-50 series, but I will say Dallas in 7.
I've got the Wild in 7, mostly because Jesper Wallstedt is a Hall of Fame goaltender, and he's still active.
And he's also the backup in this series. I think he gets pulled. Or he gets brought in after game 2.
Yeah, I think if Wild get in any kind of trouble, like I think he's got a .916 save percentage this year.
He's unreal. And I know they're going Gustafsson as their starter. We watched him in the he's veteran. You got to do it. But we watched him in the Olympics, and he, the lights might have been a little too bright.
Yeah. Well, the reason you start Wallstedt or you put Wallstedt in is that when he comes in, that you've already used the veteran, and now he's like, okay, you got to save the kid. You don't put all the pressure on the kid at the beginning of the series.
Yeah.
Vegas Golden Knights, Utah. I'm interested in this series because I think a lot of people are sleeping on Utah, but I'm also aware that Vegas just flattened the league in the last 10 games.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know the Duke today said he would take Utah over the Knights, and this is the one that I've been going back and forth on because the Knights have been so strong in the last 10 games, and the Mammoths are really young, or like their best players are young. I just like Mitch Marner plays for the Knights, and that's a real problem here. I'll say Mammoth in 6, but I'm not very convicted in that.
Yeah, what's crazy about this is like the Golden Knights were 39-43, all things said and done. Now they were 7-0-3 in their last 10, like you mentioned, but 39-43, and the Mammoth were 43-39.
Yeah,
like
it's and they've got better goaltending.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Give me the Mammoth in 7.
Yeah,
maybe that's crazy, but I don't know.
I'm picking Vegas in 7, but I'm cheering for Mammoth in 7.
It would be awesome. It'd be awesome to see the Mammoth win. I think they're a fun team.
All right, Edmonton, Anaheim. Yes.
I have a real
say
opinion.
No more. That's
my
exactly
my troll says Ducks in 7 because that would be hilarious. I would laugh my butt off.
It could happen.
There is an infinite possibility that there are infinite worlds that exist where the Ducks win this in 7.
Finite in my world, buddy.
And there's infinite worlds where the Oilers win this in 4, right? I think realistically this is going to be an Oilers in 5 win, but I just like sometimes with these fully young teams across all sports, all I can think is like they're just out here having fun. So that gives them a serious advantage in my heart. And like, yeah, all right. Like this is their first year in the playoffs. I think they might knock a big contender off the board just by like having more fun than everybody else.
I think the Oil win in 4. I think they dog walk Anaheim. I think they steamroll them. Listen, Edmonton has their problems. Anaheim can't stop anything. I don't think they have a dynamic player to take over the series as much as I like some of their young players. When I just look at the teams, I don't see How does Anaheim win a game? I don't see it. I'm taking Edmonton in 4.
I have the Oilers in 6. I'd like to say 5. I think it'll be 5, but I also have to keep in mind that the goaltending's strong in Anaheim, and I am going to say this now. The officiating, when they officiate in Southern California, is just a little different. It's the same in Dallas. And so I think the Oilers win in 6. They should win in 5, but one of the games will be a little freak, and people will wonder how that happened, and then they'll go back to 5 penalties against Edmonton and none against Anaheim. I think Edmonton wins in 6. That's my answer. I can't wait. Can we agree? Like, there are times in the year, October baseball is so damn good. And the Super Bowl and the Grey Cup are fantastic. And the majors in golf and the majors in tennis are all world. But when we have the NBA and the NHL starting the playoffs, and sometimes the best series are in the NHL or the first round series. This is going to be a blast for the next 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. I think the first round of the NHL playoffs is incredibly exciting. I think it's my favorite playoffs to watch. On a whole, I'm still a basketball guy. I love watching the NBA playoffs, especially because that can get really, really crazy. But man, the NHL is fun when it's playoff season.
Yeah, I agree totally. It's going to be fun. Well, it was enjoyable. I thought we'd have more disagreement. We're not that far away. We feel like one thing I'll say is that this has been a different shades of gray season, and it based on what we just said, I think it's a different shades of gray postseason too. It's going to be close in a lot of these.
Oh, absolutely. Now, do we want to do a cup matchup, or is that bridge too far?
We can do that. Yeah, we can do that for sure.
Ooh, this is fun.
Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah. Okay. Give me the Sabres.
Seriously?
Oh yeah. I fully believe in the Sabres. I think they're absolutely unreal. And I know it's their first year in the playoffs after 14 years, but I think this is a scriptwriter's final. Give me the Sabres in the Stanley Cup final against the Wild, and then I'll say the Wild take it.
Oh, nice. That'd be really good.
That would be a super fun finals, in my opinion.
Yeah. Historic.
I don't hate the Wild being there. Like, I think any of those 3 Central teams got a real shot. I'll go with the chalk, easy, not that fun pick, probably betting favorite. I'll go with the Lightning versus the Avs.
Okay.
That would also be a fun watch.
Yeah. I have the Carolina Hurricanes defeating the Colorado Avalanche in 7, with Taylor Hall scoring the winning goal in overtime in Game 7.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. It would be a great story. I'd love it. I just think this is... I'll say this. You guys are so lucky, and here's one way you are, okay? When I was growing up, there was like 2 or 3 teams. It was going to be Montreal or Boston or Philadelphia, and you always thought Buffalo might be able to, and they never broke through, or Chicago. Those were the teams. Mm-hmm. And it never really changed. The Rangers got to a couple of finals. Chicago did. But mostly through my youth, it was Boston winning a couple, Montreal winning a ton, then Philadelphia won a couple, and then it was Montreal again. And then when the Islanders won in 80, that was the real breakthrough where a team that we didn't expect, or Philadelphia, I guess, too, in 75, won the Stanley. But it was really, really by rote when I entered as a fan in the National Hockey League. Now, we've had lots of teams that are pretty good, really good, winning Stanleys here or there. Right now, I think it's wide open. I think like Carolina is a team that could win this year because everything's different shades of equal. Carolina Hurricanes have real depth. Aho is at the top of his game. They finally, I think, have figured out the goaltending. We'll see. I think that the West has been set for a while, in my opinion. I know what I think the West is gonna. I think we know who's coming out of the West.
Yeah, I picked the Wild because it's more of a fun.
Oh, I'd love
funky
to see
pick,
it.
And I like their decor is unreal. Yeah. I really like the defense they have. Obviously, their center depth is something that's an issue, but I think they got the best goaltenders. I think they have the best defense.
One thing we have to talk
Kirill
about.
the Thrill.
Yeah, one thing we have to talk about, and I don't know when we will. Minnesota Wild. Bill Guerin, former Oiler. San Jose Sharks, Mike Greer, former Oiler. Oilers have had lots of past Oiler players in management and coaching roles.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if either of those cats ever lands in Edmonton as the general manager in the future.
As of right now, they both sort of have it made in the shade now, don't they?
Well, San Jose is a nice area.
San Jose is a great area. They got a very exciting young player over there. 2, if you count Will Smith. I like Will Smith's game.
But I think we could safely say the kid in San Jose might be, I don't want to say the first legit threat to McDavid, but he might be.
He's going to be running the league in 3 years.
Like we can, I know Jason really hates this word, but we're okay with using generational when it comes to Macklin, right?
I think
he's a second generation from McDavid, I think. That's
right.
fair.
So like we waited on Crosby's next one and it was McDavid. And I think this kid is the next one in the McDavid era.
Yeah, they were all about 10 years apart, right?
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I think that's fair.
He's just stupid good.
Unbelievably good. The fact that he almost willed a team like the San Jose Sharks into the playoffs. Obviously, they dropped quite a few at the end there, but he is unbelievable. He's unreal. Every time you watch him, you're like, I can't believe this is a 19-year-old that's doing this. That's the part that's blowing your mind, is that he's 19. He's younger than me.
Yeah.
He's somewhere between 7 to 10 years younger than Declan. Leon Draisaitl's number.
Bearcat 99 says, Lowetide has the same guest on all the time. I usually turn it off between 11 and 2. One thing, though, is you're very good on the show, Declan. I lost interest in Lowetide show when it was on TSN 1260. I try every now and then, but just can't listen to Lowetide. Nothing personal. He's probably a wonderful person. This is what has to happen for you, Declan. You need to create your own audience, and you're doing it. Congratulations. That's a text you should frame.
Well, listen, do I thank them?
Of course you should.
Well, it was very kind words about me.
This is how he feels. He's being genuine. He's not being a jerk. This is not a jerky email.
I don't know. It kind of he kind of ripped the guy that made me.
Yeah,
I'm
sort
not
of
here
dunked
without,
on you now.
I'm not here without Lowetide, and so I'm not.
This is how radio works. If it works well, the person who follows me should already be in the room.
Congrats, Celebrini. You've just dethroned McDavid.
Yeah, I mean that's. I don't think Bearcat 99 is being a jerk. Do you? He's just saying I can't listen to.
I don't know. Listen, we make a lot of retirement jokes. I don't actually want you to retire. I want that.
Here's the thing: people get tired of shtick, right? Like, I don't know who was your favorite news guy when you were a kid, but at some point in time, you'll turn on the TV news and you're like, that guy again. It happens. That's life. You have to deal with it. But what you want is somebody who's on the show reaching the people that I have, who've grown tired of me. That's how radio works. I think it's a good thing. That's the most encouraging text I've seen in some time. And I want to thank Barrick, even though he's probably not listening. That's from Declan's burner phone. Declan's not that guy. He's not the guy who'll throw me over. No, I'm teasing. Josh isn't the guy.
Listen, I'd be here without both of you.
Well, we don't know what you do. That helps.
Yeah.
All right. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Craving a dining experience that rises above the rest? Head to Summit Restaurant in the Silent Ice Center, just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Savor exceptional house-made pizza, delectable entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails in a stylish, modern atmosphere. Perfect for a casual meal or a special night out. Summit offers a refined experience where every bite and sip reflects our dedication to quality. Elevate your dining experience. Make Summit Restaurant your destination tonight.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense. At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the VLT of savings until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
This May, look for your census letter in the mail. The information you provide helps plan services in your community that support employment, transit, education, healthcare, and more. It's easy to fill out and completely confidential. Find out more at census.gc.ca. Your census, your community, our future. A message from the Government of Canada.
In like a lion or like a lamb, out like a goat. That's greatest offer of all time with Sherwood Honda.
Sort of back to Bouchard. Delayed penalty coming on Vancouver. So this is a 6-on-5. Bouchard, McDavid. Edmonton has completed a line change in the offensive zone. Directed to Murphy, and Frederick will get it back. Slid to Darnell Nurse across. That was Dick. Rebounded fast. 6-1 Oilers. They paid off Louis more than a full minute in the offensive zone. Saw the beleaguered Vancouver head coach Adam Foote. Round warhorse, 1,000-plus games in the NHL, couple of cups. McDavid in the net, short side save, rebounds. That's going to be 20. Nugent Hopkins.
Yard looking beautiful with affordable lawn care packages that include fertilizer, weed control, drought fighter, and more. Visit greendrop.com.
We're from Mr. 305, Dade County, to Mr. Worldwide, all around the world.
Down with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Down on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening on a podcast, thanks for that too. By the way, Sports 1440 proudly sponsors the 2026 Canadian Wheelchair Basketball League Finals tonight through the weekend at Saville Community Sports Centre. 22 teams of elite athletes across Canada compete for the national championship, hosted by Wheelchair Sports Alberta. Watch Canada's top athletes for free. Go to sports1440.ca for more information. That's sports1440.ca. Outstanding. Great athletes. Okay, now 146. We've talked a lot about the Oilers and the Anaheim Ducks and about the Oilers last night against Vancouver. I wrote earlier this week about the Oilers in search of an Esa Tikkanen type, and those who remember Esa Tikkanen know he was an agitator, but he also was a really good two-way winger, and he could also score 30 goals. He was a superstar on a team that had so many that he often got overlooked. And he went on to win a Stanley Cup with the New York Rangers and had a storied career. Really a wonderful player. If you're making a list of the top left wings in Edmonton Oilers history, you'd have to go with early Messier before he moved to center. A guy like Ryan Smith for sure. But Tikkanen would be near the top of the list, as would Craig Simpson among the Stanley Cup winners when they were all in Edmonton. But what the Oilers went away from when Evander Kane left was more of an enforcer type, a rugged guy who could absolutely end someone and intimidate a Matthew Tkachuk, as an example. And that has real value. Now, Kane is a little older now. The Oilers moved him on at the right time, but then you still need that truculence, that rugged play. And how do you want to do that? Do you want an enforcer type like with Kane, who took some penalties? I don't think they were penalties, but they were called. And he ended up costing, some opportunity in deep into the playoffs. Do you want that, or do you want a player who's more of an Esa Tikkanen, an agitator type, not necessarily going to drop the gloves, although he might? It feels to me like Stan Bowman, since he got here, he acquired Vasily Podkolzin, who's not really that player, but he can play a rugged game. He can hit hard, and he can win battles. He's a guy who can wheel with Draisaitl, but he can also, work along the wall and win pucks in heavy territory against big defensemen, and that has value. And they tried to do that with Trent Frederick when they acquired him, and Max Jones as well. And this Colton Dach kid, who we saw last night, again, helping out offensively, he is an intriguing fellow to me. People say he's not fast, but NHL Edge says he's, average or a little better. He's a big man. He's physical. He has real awareness. He has, you could call it puck luck, but I think he's got an idea about where to go when goals are scored. One of my favorite stories that I've ever read in my life was about a man named Gilles Tremblay, who was a left winger for the Montreal Canadiens. He was coming up in the late 1950s. Toe Blake was the coach of the Canadiens at that time. They were maybe 5 years away from Sam Pollock being the general manager. So this was the olden days. So it's the late 50s, and Gilles Tremblay is at his training camp with Montreal for the first time. And he's talking to Toe Blake, who's the coach, and he says, Mr. Blake, I can handle the penalty killing. I can handle the defensive play. I can always be, counted on defensively as a left winger, but I'm not going to score enough for you to stay in the National Hockey League. And Toe Blake said to him, you look after that part of the game that you're good at, and I'll show you where the goals are scored. And for a guy like Dach, who is not, going to zip up the ice and score, a beautiful goal that you're going to see on highlights a la Connor McDavid for the next decade, those things are really important. Those small little indicators that he has the acumen and he understands where he should be when pucks are loose or when there might be a pass coming from a skill center. And Dach has shown in a very short space of time that he's capable of that. And his 5-on-5 points per 60 in the last, say, 10 games or so is around 3. And sure, he's been lucky. There's no doubt about that. But I think Stan Bowman may have gotten himself somebody that you could build around on a third line or a fourth line, not just this spring, for the future. I think that might be a hell of an acquisition. Even beyond the Murphy and the Dickinson deal, that kid might be something for the future. And I know he's local, but I don't really care. What I care about is that he's big, he's strong, he has no fear, he has hands, and he has a sixth sense around the net. There's a lot of value there. And I've written about it, but I wanted to talk about it. I haven't said anything about Colton Dach really on the show. I think that's a really important thing for us to put a pin in right now as we wait for this. Should be the time of year where those big, rugged players really become valuable. Leon in the playoffs. I mean, he's the same player, but it has a different value because they put the whistles away and he's filthy, and he can be more filthy and get away with it in the postseason.
Hey, some news coming down just as per our last kind of breakdown. Jesper Wallstedt is going to start game 1.
Whoa. Well, there we go. We predicted it.
Wild in 6.
You predicted it.
I did not predict it. I thought he was going to start after game 2. I thought Gustafson would get pulled and he'd get thrown in at the.
Please tell me that Tide still bobs that head to this song. I do. The International Love Song. I love that song. That's so good. I like when the girl sings. What's her name?
Oh, there's no girl in that song.
Who's the high voice?
Chris Brown.
Oh, well, great song. I didn't know. I'm sorry to Chris Brown. I didn't know that.
I don't think you have to be sorry to Chris Brown. If anything, Chris Brown should probably be sorry to you.
Is Chris Brown another one of those fellows who
yes,
does?
He's a bad dude.
All right. Is he the one who was around Whitney Houston? It can't be.
No.
All right. Okay. Ticket in 4 Stanley Cups with the Oilers, one with the New York Rangers, 1 Stanley Cup final with the Caps in '98. He was a great player. I loved him. He scored big goals. He suppressed offense. He was. I think it was Yari Curry who was on the bench with him, and he told him to shut up because he spoke what was called Ticanese at the time, where it was half English, half Finnish, and nobody really knew, no matter what you spoke, what the hell he was saying. But he was a wonderful player, one of my all-time favorite players, Esa Tikkanen. That was Bobby Brown. You're right. Oh no, I'm reading what he did with Rihanna. Well, that's not acceptable.
Very bad.
No.
Very bad.
Could be pretty fun next year to have him and Clattenburg as Bash Brothers on the 4th line from Andrew D. Well, I think Clattenburg could be on the 4th line, but what I'm suggesting is Doc might play a little farther up the lineup. I don't know for sure. We haven't seen him for a long time. I'm just putting the bug in your ear, which is a gross phrase, but I'm just putting a pin in it so you might remember when I say Colton Doc might be something more than people initially thought he would be, or at least that I thought he would be. This might be a long-term Oiler, and he might be the guy the Oilers were hoping to get when they acquired Frederick, although I still hope that Frederick is the guy the Oilers were hoping to get when they acquired Frederick. That's a lot of words, but I think it makes sense, and I'm going to stick with it. All right. Fun day today. Enjoyed it very much. Jason Gregor on the way. And Jason, of course, will be talking about last night's game. He'll give you the latest update about who we perceive will be in the lineup when Anaheim and the Oilers face off in Game 1 of the initial series of this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. Going to be a wild time. Thanks so much for tuning into the Lowdown. Please enjoy your weekend.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Canadian Wheelchair Basketball League Championships taking place here in Edmonton at the Seville. Game's just getting going about 10 minutes ago. 3 sets of games, no score yet. The next game will be at 3:30, and at 7 p.m. we will see the Hall of Fame game between the Alberta Northern Lights and SIVA. NBA play-in action will continue tonight, with Charlotte and Orlando at 5:30 and Golden State and Phoenix at 8. In the MLB, the Toronto Blue Jays will be in action. 7:40 first pitch out in Arizona to take on the D-backs. Lauer on the mound in that one. And scores around the majors right now for the Cubs lead the Mets 7-3. From around the sporting world, the Oilers have recalled goaltender Calvin Card from the Condors on an emergency basis. No injury to Ingram or Jari. Vancouver Canucks have fired GM Patrick Allvin after finishing the season last in the NHL with 14 fewer points than the Blackhawks, and the Texans and All-Pro defensive end Will Anderson have agreed to a historic 3-year, $150 million extension, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback, and also includes a rare no-trade clause for the NFL. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKG.